Once upon a time in a village far, far away, sitting at the foot of a beautiful mountain with amazing valleys and tiny, tidy houses in the land that lies beyond the 7 continents, where magic lives and animals can talk, there lived a simple and friendly, happy people who were very content with their lives. Everyone went about their quiet lives, and in the afternoon they all gathered in the town square, sat down at the large tables and talked things over. They told jokes and laughed together. Everyone was so happy all the time. That is, until one afternoon, everything changed. Everyone heard a loud noise, a terrifying roar that seemed to be coming from all over the mountains. And the roar was so loud that all the windows on all the tiny little houses shattered, and the broken glass was all over the ground. People rushed to their houses to see what was happening, and a second large roar was again heard from the mountains. And yet again, all that remained of the windows shattered again and fell to the ground. Then the roar stopped and an eerie quiet set on the town. So the villagers got scared, did not dare to sleep all night, cleaned up the shattered glass, and everyone prepared to buy another glass for their windows the next day. So they all gathered again in the town square and tried to figure out what was happening and where the loud noise may have come from. This time everyone was angry and scared, and the peace of the little village was disturbed. Since something like this has never happened before, everyone was wondering what could be the reason for this loud noise. The next morning, all the villagers went to the window maker's workshop to have new glass installed into their window frames. Since there were many houses in the village, the line was quite long, and the window maker had a really busy and productive day. He was one of the poorest men in the village, so new business came in really handy for him. At the end of the day, he counted his money happily. People waited in line all day long, and they all went home very tired to reinstall their windows. In the evening, they were happy that it was solved, and the windows were in place in every house. The next morning at dawn, before everyone would peacefully wake up, the earth shook again from an enormous roar, and all the windows on all houses shattered again. Everyone ran out of the houses again, and they were really scared. So the story from the previous day repeated again. Most of the villagers lined up at the window maker's workshop to get new glasses for their windows. The next day, the villagers gathered in the town square, this time angry and loud, and everyone was looking for a solution. They knew they needed to find out where the roar was coming from, and they knew they had to get rid of it. We could hire one of the magical detectives, someone suggested. Right, said someone else. But they are known to be peculiar people who surround themselves with magical dogs and cats. Everyone knows that. Some of them even have shapeshifter dogs that change shape from one type of dog to the other. How strange is that? You look at the man walking a German Shepherd, and the next moment, the same dog is changing into a Malinois detective dog. Is that who you want to work with? Well, we don't really have another choice, said someone else again. Let's call Valen Kade, the chief detective of them all. So they did. Valen Kade was sitting at his table, with his beloved cat Nyx, and they were discussing all sorts of things, and chewing peanuts, and suddenly both of his service phones rang. He was so surprised that he answered both phones at the same time. Even his beautiful Siamese Nyx was surprised. He talked things over with the villagers, and they agreed to meet in person. So he came with his beautiful dog Titan, to meet and discuss things. Valen Kade went into a villager's house, and they discussed about what happened. Valen Kade then promised to do everything in his power in order to find out what is causing the loud roar and the shattering of the windows, which cost the villagers quite a lot of money and effort and made everyone scared and angry. The detective and his pets began to walk around the streets and carefully observe everything that was happening in the village. As it got dark, everyone in the village went inside. Everyone in the house was getting ready for the night. Well, everyone except one man. There was someone just closing the door on their business and heading with a big bag of money towards the bank. Who do you think it was? The window maker. Out of the blue, Valen Kade's beautiful Siamese cat Nyx also decided to join them, since Kade was with pets. People didn't give him much of an attention because he was just walking his pets on the streets. They slowly followed the man as he was going up towards the mountains, and they saw the man enter a cave upon the hill. They hid behind a large stone and waited to see what would happen. They didn't have to wait long because soon after there was a huge roar, a big noise, a terrifying rumble. Even the ground shook because of it. Valen Kade and his pets got scared for a moment, but then they got a hold of themselves and waited patiently near the entrance of the cave, and soon after they saw the window maker come out of the cave and heading towards the village. He didn't seem to be bothered by the roar, and he was just walking down the path. So when they were convinced that window maker wasn't coming back, they went into the cave. They heard something braying heavily and discovered a mighty dragon laying on the ground, tied with magical ropes. "Are you also here to hurt me, human?" said the dragon while trying to stand up. But he couldn't properly stand up because the magical ropes would not let him. So as mighty as he was, he fell back to the ground. "Not at all," said Valen Kade. "I have come with my dog to the rescue. We were trying to figure out what was the loud roar coming from this mountain that in the last few days shattered all the windows in the village." "That must have been my roar," said the mighty dragon, trying to stand up again. "I am Askharion, a golden dragon from the realm beyond the veil that sits among the pyramids. I have come to rescue a good friend of mine, a small tiger cub by the name of Tidin," said the dragon. "And this evil man, the window maker, trapped me with a giant magical net and tied me with enchanted ropes, so I will not be able to escape this cave. And he has been coming every day and hurting me with the ropes. And I was powerless against him, because of these enchanted ropes. And every day he comes and hurts me, and then he leaves again. If it wasn't for my friend Tidin, the curious tiger cub, I would have starved already. But my friend has brought me fish every day, and we spend the nights cuddled together. And in the morning when the evil window maker comes, my dear friend Tidin leaves the cave and hides." "So I was right," said the detective. "There was something odd about that man. I am Valen Kade, magic detective, and this is my magical dog Titan. Let us help you get freed from those ropes. Titan can help you take away the magic of those ropes, and then we can take those off and you will be free to go. I will not forget your good deed, detective, and you too, Titan will be my friend forever. From here on, whenever you will need me, just call my name, and I will cross the veil between the worlds and come to your aid." "It is only natural that we freed you," said Valen Kade. "No creature should be ever bound. And now we must go back to the village and arrest the evil window maker." So they parted ways. Askharion flew up into the sky, and Valen Kade went down to the village. As soon as people saw the detective, they quickly rushed to ask him, "Did you find what was causing all this?" The whole village gathered in the town square, except for one. Everyone was anxious to find out what Valen Kade and his magical creatures have discovered. "Look around, people. Is everyone from the village here?" The people looked at each other, trying to figure out if everyone is there. A young man then exclaimed, "No, not everyone. My neighbor, the window maker, is missing." "Why are you asking us this, detective?" he asked. "Well, it's because the window maker is the reason why you all had your windows broken, and the same man is also responsible for someone else's suffering." "Vesperus!" they shouted, "that evil man. How did he do all of this?" "You see, me and Titan and my cat Nyx have followed this Vesperus one day, and we discovered that he has trapped a golden dragon from the world beyond the veil, and has since kept the dragon tied with magic ropes in the cave here above in the mountains, and every day he went up to hurt the dragon. And the dragon's roar, since it was in enormous pain, shattered all your windows every time. And this was good business for Vesperus. He was the only one who always benefited, because all of you had to buy new glass for your windows every time. Well, yes, answered the whole village. The only thing left to do was to call the sheriff and arrest Vesperus. And surely enough, the next day the sheriff appeared and arrested Vesperus in his workshop and took him away. "Why did you do this, Vesperus?" people asked, "since you already had everything. House, money, business, fame?" Vesperus didn't answer, and he was taken to prison. And people took the money Vesperus had made in such an egregious way, and paid the detective Valen Kade handsomely. And then everyone went back to their houses at the end of the day. As people were about to leave the town square, the majestic dragon Askharion flew above the village, heading towards the pyramids that sit on the borderline between the two worlds. A small tiger cub was also seen on the back of the majestic dragon.